Still talking about the question of VAT, where do you think the discontent and the concerns are coming from with this?
Well, you mentioned it. It has to do with Section 77. Section 77 of the bill that talks about derivation. Of course, you know, currently derivation is 20%, equality 50%, and then population 20%. But the committee recommended moving that from 20% to 60%. Some persons have also tried to equate it with the derivation that comes, you know, from oil, and you know they've argued, why is that that of the oil 13%, and then this one is being moved from 20 to 60%. Okay, so that's where the real issue is, you know, coming from. But I wouldn't know whether the chairman of the committee mentioned it in his submissions, that yes, the current formula, of course, we know is 15%. If FG keeps 15%, and then 85% is taken to subnationals, 50 to states, and 35 to the local government. But what is being recommended now is the FG should just return 10%, so 5% of that will now also be taken to subnationals. But I wouldn't know whether he has mentioned it, that in making this recommendation, that the committee also had at the back of its mind the possibility that a state, you know, could, you know, at the end of the day, have something that is lower than what it currently has. Well, that is in the unlikely event that happens, that the 5%, which the federal government is now going to relinquish, can serve as an equalization fund, you know, to also use to ensure that no state is worse off, you know, at the end of the day. So the expectation, yeah,
that some states would eventually get lower than they do now. What could lead to that? If, for instance, we say, right, okay.
In the unlikely event that happens, okay. Now, just as the chairman rightly explained, you know, the attribution will now be based on consumption and no longer on the basis of the headquarters effect, you know, that Lagos State now, you know, currently enjoys. Okay, so if it is going to be based on consumption, it's expected that a lot, you know, states will actually benefit, because consumption takes place virtually everywhere. Okay, but where that happens, I know I said in the unlikely event that you have a state now maybe having less from VAT as opposed to what you used to have. Okay, the suggestion is that there should be something like an equalization fund. Maybe the chairman will throw more light on that, you know, that can be used to also compensate those states. So at the end of the day, okay, the whole idea is to make sure that no state is worse off by the new arrangement. Okay, so it's expected that all the states will be better off if the new VAT sharing formula, the new VAT arrangement, you know, is implemented. So I think no state should have any reason to fear, especially having in mind that there is something called, you know, an equalization fund that is being provided to ensure that no state, you know, suffers.